I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me to talk on the Halal Management and Certifications, the scenario and practices in Malaysia. In 1982, Malaysian Department of Islamic Development, known as JAKIM, was established under the Prime Minister's Department with the responsibilities to check and instill halal awareness among food producers, distributors, importers, including food premises, restaurants, and hotels. Ever since, the halal certification has become the responsibility of JAKIM. Now, after about 40 years, halal certification process has undergone a lot of improvements. In our current practices, there are three important elements to sustain the halal system. First is the Sharia law, which remains as the basic pillar and the root of everything. Second is the good governance, which has been evolving to cope with the diversifying products and industrial settings, and the science and technology to strengthen, to facilitate, to explore innovation in product development, authentication, and management. Let me brief a little bit what is halal from the religious perspective. Just like the civil law to regulate our living systems, the life of Muslims is also guided by Sharia law. And Sharia law also specifies what Muslims should eat and use and what cannot be consumed. Halal means permissible. The opposite is haram. Food or any consumer products must not contain najis, or impurities, and toxic substances. Those that do not contain these elements are considered halal. As far as nash are concerned, there are three categories. The severe, light, and medium categories. The severe category is haram to be intentionally consumed and used. In addition, if it got in contact with the body, it has to be cleansed following the Islamic cleansing ritual called sirtu. So do the other categories, as those are considered as dirt and unsafe. But sirtu is not needed for cleansing for the light and medium categories. They just need normal cleansing using clean water as long as the color, smell, and taste disappear. These are some examples of the medium categories of nach. And those halal foods or products that are contaminated with nach are also considered unclean. Alcoholic beverages are of main concern as they are widely available. These beverages are considered as nach. And alcohol that are derived from these beverages or processes that are meant to produce alcoholic beverages cannot be used for other purposes. So what are the animals that we can eat? Well, we can eat land animals except pigs and dogs, and those with these characteristics, animals with long pointed teeth, predators, pests, and so on, as well as halal animals which have not been slaughtered according to Sharia rituals. They will become haram. Aquatic animals can be consumed except those that are poisonous and those that live both on land and in water, such as crocodiles, frogs, and turtles. How about plants and microbes? They can be consumed as long as they are safe to be consumed. Now we have genetically modified food. They are considered haram if there is any incorporation or use of genetic materials of animals that are haram as interpreted by Sharia law. I'm showing this because this animal has been in a great attention because they are being farmed at a larger scale for human consumption in many parts of the world. The animal has the right to live as God creates them for certain roles, but not for Muslims to eat. Now it has been very challenging as many parts of the animals are being utilized to generate other forms of elements that are used in food preparation and consumer products. And I believe this is the main reason that sparked the need for halal verifications and halal assurance systems, as we have now practices whereby anything that originates from this animal is not allowed. Sharia law provides the guidelines on do's and don'ts, but the implementation will rely on humans. So to ensure compliance, especially throughout the supply and production chain, a good conduct of management and traceability is very important. And we have integrated this as part of the Malaysia Halal Assurance System. As foods are being produced at a large scale to feed billions of population, the issue is not only on halal status but also on the safety and quality, which is also part of the religious requirement termed as halalan thayyibat. So this has resulted in a comprehensive halal management exercise that covers not only matters related to halal animals and slaughtering, but also the substances and processes along the supply and production chain. The whole process must be clean without potential contamination with haram elements or other contamination from the environment and human themselves that may pose the product as unsafe, such as bacteria and toxic chemicals. There has been guidelines imposed and regulated by many other authorities on the safety aspects, and this must be abided by before halal certification is approved. This is an example of a production flow chart where basic halal and safety requirements are illustrated. Basically, for critical halal control points, the type of animals, slaughtering, and the use of other ingredients and packaging materials must be free from nudge. But the animal welfare, processing, handling, storage, and transportation must also comply with standards by relevant agencies. For these reasons, halal standards have developed to cover many aspects to complement safety issues. Currently, there are 15 standards, including a porcine DNA test as part of optional authentication check whenever appropriate. Talking about the variety of products and industrial settings, to apply the halal concept needs to be cautious as not to create confusion among Muslim and also non-Muslims. Therefore, scope of halal certification is categorized accordingly so that the requirements for each scope is made clear. Currently, there are 7 scopes, and perhaps considering that products are also evolving, these scopes can be improved and expanded further in the future. And to ensure a smooth running of the halalan thayyiban concept, JAKIM is not working alone. There is an ecosystem where the scopes are being regulated in a multidisciplinary environment, where halal certification process is supported by many other agencies within their own expertise, including the consumers whom may provide feedbacks or reports on any misconducts. In case of misconducts, action will be taken through the respective regulatory agencies within their legislative power. This is the list of legislative agencies and their respective roles. Apart from that, we have agencies that are doing promotions, human talent development, and R&D. We have Halal Development Corps, or HDC, under the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, that looks into the business aspects and provide resources such as training and networking, as well as universities that I am representing doing research and producing graduates in halal studies. This is the flow of halal certification process. Valid documentations must be prepared and submitted online. Upon verification, there will be on-site audit where sampling might be done if necessary before a decision is made. This is the list of documents that are needed. As you can see, the documents are to verify that the manufacturers are operating legitimately and fulfilling the halal requirements in many aspects. Other accreditation on good practices or good conducts will be very useful to support halal certification. In case of cosmetic and pharmaceutical products, it is a must to have GMP and a prior approval from NPRA, the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency, to ensure the safety of the products for human use. Another requirement is for the multinational and medium industry to design and establish halal assurance systems in their operation according to the nature of their products. For small-scale industry with smaller financial margin, it suffices to have internal halal control system with basic filing and traceability system. To ensure the integrity, these must be run by Muslims who have sufficient halal knowledge. Therefore, Halal Professional Boards under JAKIM has introduced professional courses to produce halal executive and halal auditor to be employed to run the halal assurance system. For multinational and medium industry, it is a must to have Muslim halal executive as part of the operations, while for small-scale industry, it suffices to have minimum Muslim workers. Okay, science and technology are very crucial in product development and authentication, as well as to facilitate management and traceability. The extent of science and technology is a continuous exploration. especially with the incorporation of Toiwan aspects where there is always room for innovation for a better quality and safety. Basically, Halal Science is looking into methods for halal authentication, the search for halal alternative ingredients, and development and premiumization of halal products. As for halal management, the shift towards digital surveillance would increase the efficiency and reliability in tracking the supply and production chain. Definitely, the utilization of technology may increase cost, that various levels of industries may not have equal capabilities. Therefore, good managerial conduct would still serve as a basic platform for halal assurance, and it is the responsibility of the manufacturers to obey the SOPs related to halal assurance in their operation. But from the scientific point of view, apart from documentary and on-site audit, authentication through laboratory analysis can be done voluntarily and randomly to increase the level of trust among consumers on the products. These are some examples of substances that are commonly used in food and products which may come from animal sources where halal status can be doubtful, but some alternatives are available. So therefore, ethical declaration is needed, perhaps with scientific authentication to support the halal status. This is another example. The origin of these substances can be declared on the product insert or labels. Although some methods are available to verify the origin, but there are still limitations as analysis is depending on the scope of a particular instrument and the nature of the samples. Current scientific methods may not be able to reliably verify the non-halal items which are not intact physically, chemically, or biologically, for example, the dead animals. So consequently, monitoring of the production steps from farm to tables along the food production and supply chain are very important. Health and cosmetic products have a very high business prospect. But there is a huge challenge to scrutinize the elements used as well as to find alternative ingredients for these products. This is the correct Malaysian halal logo, where application number should be displayed so that customer or consumer can check the status in the product database online. It can be done at the JAKIM website, while at the same time, HDC has also recently established Halal Integrated Platform, providing link to various resources related to halal training, business networking, and ingredient directories. This system is not fully operational yet, but soon by this year. With that, thank you for listening.